say, I'm sure, well, I got a lot of condolences when the news broke that the great Lumba had passed. I was thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. A life cut off too short, but definitely a life well lived. I got a wife out of it, so hey, those of you who say, how did he impact? Oh yes. Through his songs, I got a wife out of it. We say deep condolences to the family and to all of us and to the millions and millions and millions of Lumba lovers out there, which is practically, you may not be a Lumba lover, but at least there may be a track or two that you enjoy. And for that note, I say condolences to all of us. Condolences to all of us. But as usual, we have to start the way we start, folks. Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. And I'll say that again, folks. I said, until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. I am Nana Ansah Kwao IV, Chief of the Little Republic of Akwamu Edumasa, and I say, thank God it's Monday. Here we are, folks, divinely favored, living to correct our mistakes if we learn from them, and the opportunity to meet again for the love of radio, for the love of nation, for the love of Ghana, to perform the greatest ritual that radio ever brought. And patriots, folks, have been brought to the fore. The wise, the discerning, the knowledgeable, the in-depth have all gathered by now and patiently waiting for what I am going to bring. And for that, I say thank you. Thank you for you also doing that. Tuning in every Monday evening to listen to what I have to bring. And then you also bring your in-depth knowledge to add onto it. Welcome to the ritual I call That's My Opinion, folks, every Monday at this time. So make it a point to tune in and join us. Become an opinionator. And our topic today, folks, before the big push. Before the big push. Let's all gather and make truth good. Folks, before the change of government, when the election campaign were, hot with promises. One of the promises made by the running mate was the abolition of the e-levy. And for those of you who are regulars, and my God, there are quite a number of regulars there, Shem and Asantua, Jemine Joseph, Nana Kwesi, Kwabna in USA, Rookie, Abu Mohammed in Japan, Eugenia Sintimedi, Dr. Cynthia Tego, lawyer Martin Pebu, Professor Babwati, endless. You will bear witness with me that I was against it. I was against it. And it was a very unpopular decision. But I said we should keep the e-levy and channel the funds or the money into a road building revolution. Keep the e-levy. After all, we have paid it, we've bitten the bullet, we were used to it, we were living with it. It was free and easy money. Let's channel it to a road building revolution. As we urgently need infrastructure. I also said that as far as transportation is concerned, folks, now our low-hanging fruit is roads. We are no good with air travel, sea travel, rail travel, whatever travel. So we depend on road for travel. But as politics will have it, it was cancelled. However, folks, looming in the near horizon is the big push. looming in the near horizon is the big push. Before I even go on, join me in congratulating the president, the finance minister, and all who birthed the idea of the big push. Because this is one thing that really gingers up and gets the economy moving. If you can inject so much money into the system, the tentacles go so wide and everything starts moving. So, kudos. Without infrastructure, folks, there's no development. It's simple as that. Infrastructure first, then development. In fact, infrastructure in its own is development. But folks, we must relook at infrastructure and strategize as to what we want from it. We must look or relook at infrastructure, strategize, and ask ourselves what we want from it. Can you imagine road from Accra to Kumasi and it's just filled with speed ramps all over? Speed ramps. Apart from the potholes that you have to dodge, speed ramps. Highway from the two major capital cities is riddled with speed ramps. So we must ask ourselves what it is we want. Why even building the road? Otherwise, folks, a great percentage of this big push money will go towards vote winning and prestige contracts. Vote winning and prestige contracts. Well, considering the deficit, the infrastructure deficit level currently that we have, considering it, if you sit back and look at the speed with which the world is moving towards AI. I was in Dubai recently and I tuned on the morning radio and they were discussing how they had to increase their megawatts because, they were going to push AI to the hilt and AI needed more energy. And so that was what was on the agenda. How much energy do we get so that we can push AI? Folks, and here we are thinking of how to fill potholes, how to water dusty roads in Apokwasi because dust that kill people. Just put water in a tanker and drive on the road. That's what we're thinking about. Water tanker, this is people are thinking of increasing energy to boost AI to face the world. And we are begging that fancy a good tanker, put water in the tanker and drive on the road so dust does not kill us. The disparity is too much. The world is moving, folks. So water on a dusty road can't be our concern. We are thinking of constructing new roads. Folks, yes, we may think of constructing new roads, but some of the roads have been there since Okonfanochi, and they have not seen any development. And yet from those areas, you get a lot of produce, either agric or minerals coming from there, but roads. We're now thinking of what do we do? The clock is ticking and the world is moving too fast. Folks, we thought the information age, the world was going fast, but I'm telling you, in the AI age, the world is going supersonic. We must rethink and ask ourselves what we want with regards to infrastructure. Folks, infrastructure is money and plenty of it, which is also a very scarce resource. So we have to maximize. We need to and must be able to stretch every dollar, every CD as reasonably as possible. We must stretch it as possible. But folks, we must be deliberate and intentional. We must reduce the cost of construction and also reduce prestige projects, in the words of Dr. Yawabedi, engineer Dr. Yawabedi. Nana, prestige projects no yado sududu. Prestige projects no yado sududu. You can't have a prestige project in community A when community B is even just lacking just simple roads. It doesn't work like that. In my terms, it's like a family of 10 and you have food, you only feed half and yet save some of the food because in the future you're going to get hungry. Well, what about those who haven't eaten today? Can we all eat and then after we think of the future? Can we all have roads and then after we think of the future? Folks, why are other countries building at a fraction of what we are? Why are other countries building or creating infrastructure half the fraction of what we're doing? Now, please, I really need to say this, and I don't know how to emphasize it strong enough, that folks, I know this is construction, and one cannot just make that blanket statement to say the project is expensive. You can't even say that, oh, a project in location A was the same as the project in location B, and therefore the price should be the same. No, I don't want to be that pedestrian. And in this conversation, we must be really, really careful not to just say blanket, oh, the project is expensive or the project. No. So many factors can affect the prices. So many factors, folks, can affect the cost. But my issue here is when consistently our prices are extremely higher, then maybe we need to audit and amend the policies governing construction. What are the factors that are causing us to hike up so much so that we don't get much more kilometers per city that we put in? For constantly compensation, sometimes 2 times. You pay the people to move, but you don't go out there to fix the road, and so they stay there, establish again, and then when you get money to come and fix the road, you have to compensate them again. Then you relocation. Then the cost of livelihood. Oh, I'm now going to be out of pocket, so you have to give me money. Moving of pipes. Why? Because we always build before we come to develop. We always finish building before we come to develop. So water and sewage pipes, ECG pipes, all have to be relocated. And then come to the luxury bit, the bosses and supervisors. All of a sudden, they need new cars. All of a sudden, they need new cars to supervise the project. And then it goes further. Now they need rented accommodation to stay in so they can supervise the project. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm saying how then are the others doing it? Folks, Google Guyana, Guyana, Guyana Road Project, Guyana. Check them out on YouTube. You will be amazed at the size of projects and the cost assigned to them. Folks, you will be amazed at the size of the projects and the cost assigned to them. But again, I don't know what goes into theirs or not didn't go into theirs. And so it's very difficult to just say, oh, why don't you do the same price as Guyana? I understand. But the price disparity, folks, I mean, you Google, they're constructing a road from a town called Linden to a town called Lethem, 121 kilometers through a virgin forest, $190 million. $190 million. Similar road in Ghana, $1 billion. $1 billion. But again, I'm saying, I don't know what goes into the Ghana road or what went into the Guyana road. But if they were able to use, and you look at the road, and it's usable, and it's a good road. $190 million. Similar road in Ghana, $1 billion. Folks, you look at the Demerara, Harbor Bridge, 2.6 kilometer hanging bridge over a river. Google it. Look at it. $260 million. And I'm thinking, we have built, interchanges half the size of this for the same amount. So even though I am pleading that I sound like a pedestrian with regard to just blanketly comparing the price, I still think there's room for us to look at how it is we are arriving at such prices for a fraction of the job. Again, folks, I did a whole show on it. I said, can we look at cheap technology which is widely available? Folks, road building is you construct the base and then you seal it so that water does not go to the base. Now the sealing is what it can be asphalt or gold tar or chippings and mortar or whatever the sealing is. There are hard-wearing cheap sealants which we can use, and for God's sake, we need it. I.e. feeder roads, inner roads, because sometimes currently, as soon as you get off the main road, if you don't have a four-wheel drive, forget it. But all these roads can be fixed at a big fraction of the price what we're doing now. We don't have to go all the way to Shire Hills to go and cut, chippings and bring it and still construct a road. Can we look? Now that we are going to push all these billions into infrastructure, can we look at these things so that the money will go further than usual? Because if we throw this big push money into infrastructure without cleaning up the center, we may shortchange ourselves. It's a good deal. It's a good program. It's a needed program. It's a life-saving program. But if we don't clean up this sector, if we don't look and re-audit, if we don't change policies to say, listen, side roads that don't have heavy traffic, you don't need to put asphalt and chippings and whatever it is, there are cheaper ways with which we can do the road so that we can really, really extend and maximize the use of this big push money. Folks, as I said, you too can Google and maybe you can share what you see. 121 kilometers through a forest, $121 million. How did they do it? Folks, how did they do it? Can we also do same? Can we look, at the whole sector? Because currently, if you give somebody a job in January, he calculates it and says it's going to cost 100 cedis. But I know you're not going to pay me in January. You're going to pay me somewhere in December. And so, therefore, the road is 180 cedis. Oh, yes. You're not going to pay me in January. You're going to pay me in December. The cedi is going to fluctuate, and therefore, my cost is 180 cedis. Built into the road. Built into the road. How do we then maximize and get the best so that the state can be moving, the country can be moving, and we all benefit? It's important. And so that's what I'm bringing today. That's what I'm bringing today. That those who have the green pen, whose signatures go further than others, before you start issuing checks for this big push, which is needed, can we clean up the system? Can we clean up the system so that instead of the average cost of a road being $1 million, can we probably do it half $1,000 and get 2 kilometers instead of 1 kilometer? But I'm sure those who are steeped into engineering and the technicalities and the bureaucracy of this can show us and teach us how it is we can stretch and maximize it. Because currently, the only way of moving our economy is on road. Not rail, not sea, not water, not air. Road. And so if we're going to push a road revolution, then we must maximize on it. Tackle the obstructions. Go back to the policy which says that every road should look black. Who cares? All we don't want is the dust, and we don't want the potholes. If it's green, blue, pink, and folks, if the road is green and there's no potholes, and it's not dusty, and there's no erosion coming to wash the road off after 1 year, we will use it. And how come constructors will do a road and you come back 6 months, sometimes a year later, and the road is completely washed off? So are we going to give 10 billion to contractors, and then 2-3 years time, all this 10 billion is washed off? I think we need to pay attention there. Who are those supervising these roads, who always go and okay the road for the contractor to get paid? Who are they? Who are they? Who always go and say, yes, I've seen the road, it's okay, pay the contractor, and they pay the contractor, and then the next day, the next 6 months, tops 1 year, there's no road left. Folks, as we are welcoming this big push, I am urging and pleading that before they throw all these monies away, as we have done in the past, let's make sure that when roads are built, they are built in such a way that maybe 8 to 10 years, we just come back, all we need to do is just put a surface layer on it and carry on going. What happened from Accra to Ebri Akropong Road? What did they do on it that the road is still there? At the end of the year, that the road still stands. It's not even asphalt. It's not even asphalt. But it's still serving its purpose. So what happened? What did they do there? What is it that we can't replicate in other areas? What is it that we can't replicate in other areas? So yes, we are congratulating the president on this big push idea. It is so much needed. It will take so many people out of poverty. I mean, look, there's a business down in Edumasan, the Kitikrachi timber. And I tell you what, when they do major harvesting, they have to go and bring a grader to come and clear the road before they can transport the goods. Who can do business like that? That when your goods are ready, you go and bring a grader to clear the road to send your goods away. So can you imagine if they had good roads? Definitely production would increase. If production increase, they probably need to hire more people. Folks, it's 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. I don't want us to blanketly say that, hey, no, we don't know what went into the room. My point is, again, all the time, ours are expensive than the others, which means we must look at it. We must look. We must reconsider. Call me. And if you're an engineer, if you know more about what goes into this thing, maybe you can explain to us. But all I'm saying that as Ghanaians, maybe I do say, where the world is moving away with AI, we need this big push. Because this big push is going to open the arena for agriculture. And so that when we land, eventually when we move into agriculture, there are the roads for us to transfer our goods, whether we are shipping it or bringing it to the markets to eat. And it will really be a lifesaver. Really be a lifesaver. And it's 0302 216 541. Who's going to be my first caller? We are looking, I'm saying, before the big push. Before the big push. And I have Ro in Accra. Hello, Ro.
Yeah, Nana.
Yes, sir.
It's unfortunate. So, yes, it's a great to understand that the shame for running like for anything. One of the media and easily hold of any walk us through, even though this.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Keep this frequency clear.
99.7.
Ro, your line was a bit, even though you're on a really good point, I really wanted to hear, but your line was a bit bad. 0302 216 541. Before the big push, let us edge, let us push, let us plead, whatever we need to do as citizens to tell the state that audit this sector before you throw the money in. But Abu Mohammed is on the line. Hello, Abu Mohammed.
Yeah, hello, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Yes. Before John Mahama would drop 2016, now they constructed road from Akole to Nuasu. Today, there is no road. It is only dust. So therefore, the contractor who John Mahama gave that contract to, they should go and take the money. Because there is no road. It is dusty. A road that was constructed from 2016 before the mama got down from Akole to Nuasu. Today we are driving in the dust. So why is the road where people can pay? And we ply that road. Every day you pass, there is these people who cross the road and they take small money from drivers. So that road, they should go and take the money. The contractor must be brought to book. Because it is absolutely, I don't want to say something. I mean, why do you want to look down upon people like that? As if we don't have conscience. A road that was built 2016 and today it is dusty. What are you talking about? Thank you, Nana. So that contractor must be ashamed of himself.
Thank you very much. 2016, you're even going too far back. If you look at between Akwese to Somenya, those who look at Akwese to Somenya, just during the election time, really, I mean, so about a year ago, I mean, it was all black and smooth, and you could just come down from Somenya runabout, 10 left towards Akwese Junction, and that's it. There's no road. And I know there are countless numbers of roads like that. Well, you know, the road is there today and tomorrow it just disappears. So are we going to throw the big push into these vanishing roads? Or are we going to find a way in which those who supervise these roads make sure that if they say the road is done, the road is done? Because surely road construction is not, well, even if it's rocket science, it's been tried and tested. It's been tried and overly tested. And surely, well within Ghana, there are roads that have been built by Ghanaians that are still working and standing. And so, it's because already 0302 216 541 is the number. Let me hear what you think. You know, and ideally, if there are any engineers out there, I know usually you guys are the silent listeners, but this is where we need you to chip in. You know, this is where we need you guys to chip in. Ro, let me hear you. I think Ro's back.
Yes, I'm back. Nana Ansah Kwao, top of the evening again to you.
Thank you. The line is much better.
Yes. Great. I'm saying, yeah, in as much as I agree or we agree, this is an opinionated show and you come and you express your opinion and the likes, we agree. But running on a great platform or a radio station like multimedia, or for that matter, Joy FM, it is always good and it will be fair that at least you tell your news team to just give you one expert to come and explain some of these things, because in as much as it's your opinion.
Okay. Oh, Ro,
Joy 99.7
I really
FM.
need to hear your take on this thing, but I really need to hear your take on this thing. Rose line is good. Ro, I mean, I know it's my opinion, but I mean, I spoke to Engineer Boache. I spoke to Engineer Dr. Abedi. I spoke to Professor George Ofori. Professor George Ofori he was one of the guys who in the days of Lee Kuan Yew, when they were building Singapore, they were there. He was talking about how they put all infrastructure together under one umbrella. I spoke to Dr. Yawabedi, who I mentioned, who was saying that sometimes we put too much money into prestige projects. Oh, it's a 3-tier flyover, 2-tier flyover, and he's saying that, hold on. Instead of putting all that money into 2, 3, 4, 5-tier flyover, why don't you go next door? Because they also need roads. I spoke to Engineer Boachi, who was telling me that, Nana, the cost of the road is there. And I was explaining, but now they will build in the cost of moving people. They will build in the cost of cars that the supervisors are going to use, the cost of relocating people. All these things come into the road to make it expensive. I agree, but I'm saying, so how then do the other people do it that are cheaper? How are they able to take these things out? Can we copy? Can we copy how, we put all these other things? Ro, I think you're back.
Yes, I'm back.
Thank you so much. I really need you to land on your thing because it's a very vital point you're making. Let me hear you. Oh my God, where are you?
Correct?
Yeah, your line is really breaking, but let's try again.
I'm saying you focus, and I'm because this is the biggest issue for now. Could have just
Joy 99.7 FM.
Your line is really, really terrible. Really terrible, really terrible. Yeah, really bad line. Really bad line. Yeah, I mean, I know the format of the show has been my opinion. I always come and then I, basically share my opinion. But I just don't talk off the cuff. That's why I've consistently said that I'm talking construction today. And, I can't just blanketly say that the road is expensive and go to sleep. The road is expensive and go to sleep because you don't know the factors that go into it. But Ro, I'm also saying that how come people are also constantly able to do this less expensive? That's where I'm drawing the thing. It's the same road, they are the same bridges, they are the same hanging bridges over a river. So what is it that they do that gets theirs lower and ours are always higher? Can we look at it? Can we exempt certain things? Can we shorten our red tapes to make some of our constructions cheaper? Because you can't be the country with the most expensive road per kilometer. You can't be that. You get to Medina, right? People have refused to use the footbridge. And so now the next campaign is that in Medina, why don't we do a flyover? So instead of enforcing discipline, Yankoya flyover. And they will bring us a bill. Millions and millions of dollars. Say, this is your flyover. Just why? Because people have refused to use the footbridge they themselves campaigned for. 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. Who have I got on the line? Well, so that's the import of the show. Now we're moving to this big push era. Folks, at all costs, it's good news, it's Christmas come early. But if we don't prepare the ground and we just whack $10 billion on the status quo, if we are not careful, maybe 40% of that will just go into bureaucracy. Somebody wanted to drive a V8, somebody wanted to live in a plush house, somebody who's already been compensated to move now wants to move again. Government buying land that's already theirs, that they've already bought again. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what I need those who are well grounded in the industry to come in and help. Come in and help. Throw your suggestions. She said, look, is he a good idea or let's forget it? We just need black tops. So far as we see a black road, we are happy. So far as we see a black road, we are happy. But can we sit back and decide, say, all we need is the road has been sealed. So no dust, no potholes, motorable, safe, travel with the shortest possible time as possible. That's what we need. Otherwise, you find somebody building a road in an area miles away from the nearest chippings quarry, and then they add all that haulage onto the cost of the road. All that haulage onto the cost of the road, when simply they could have really compacted the laterite and seal it with the numerous and many cheap sealants, bio-healthy sealants that are available. I know for a sure that Ghana High Roads have actually even tested some. Let me apologize. I know you're struggling to get through to the lines, but keep trying. Let me apologize. The lines are giving us a challenge today. Maybe too many of you trying to come in at the same time, but 0302 216 541. Folks, we must. Even though I should not, just as Rose said, don't just come on air and say the road is expensive, as if somebody has, stolen something or somebody has done a bribe or whatever it is. I don't even want to talk about the bribery or the corruption today. Even though we all know sometimes it's a factor, I don't know. I don't want to dwell on that today. I want to look at all the other legit factors which we can look at, which we must look at. Must, not can, but must look at. All the legit factors that we must look at so that we can get extra kilometers for our city. And so, you find a community. Folks, they only have maybe 10 trotro cars at the max. That will take them from their village or their towns into the next big town. Cars are over 10. Nobody owns a car there. The only time you see private cars is when there's a funeral, then people will come. And then when they cry up and down, no road, no food, you go and load chippings, load bitumen, bring this, bring that, and come and construct all these roads so that these 10 cars can ply the road. And then on weekends or every other weekend where there's a funeral, obviously there's traffic on the road. I am asking, is there no cheaper way in which you can seal this road? Seal. That these cars can ply, bring their food stuff to the market, come to the hospitals, come to the town, other than going to get chippings. Folks, other than going to get chippings. And I'm not saying this as just saying off the cuff. These are technologies which are available. These are technologies which are freely and easily available. And they are much, much cheaper. Who knows? But as we move into the big push phase, I dare say we should not throw these billions out there and work as business as usual. Because, folks, 10 billion is not from Father Christmas. It's money that we have to pay back. And you know what the funny thing is? Even those living on areas whose roads were never fixed will still have to pay. Those living in areas whose roads were never fixed, we will still have to pay in terms of levies on fuel or levies here or some VAT hike there. And yet you never enjoyed, the road building. So, folks, before the big push, let us audit the infrastructural system. I spoke to Dr. Joe Rosefoy. I think that I'll bring that show Monday. She said that all infrastructure, all contractors should come under one ombudsman so that we have one aim, so that we have one goal. Even if you're also to sink a borehole, you're also creating some infrastructure, you come under that umbrella. But that's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. But I hope and pray, folks, I hope and pray that there will be some audit. We just don't leave it as a business as usual as it is and push this money in there. It will be very, very painful. Yes, roads will be done. And God Almighty, look, Adumasa Road is in there. So I'm laughing all the way to the bank. For the last nearly 15 years, I have traversed this hostile terrain. I'm telling you, the shocks, the links I have broken just to go and serve my people and come, you have no idea. So yes, for me, I don't care. If you want to come and put asphalt on the road to Adumasa, come and do it. All the best. But in the larger scheme of things, can we relook so that the cost of roads to areas that don't have the heavy traffic can have cheaper roads? Doesn't mean that they don't last long. They last equally as long. They last equally as long and serve the same purpose, but are cheaper. And I'm sure those who have ears have heard. I want to really apologize. There were major challenges on the phones, and this is a subject matter which I know people are very dear to. But I know today I was talking about roads, but folks, we are looking at infrastructure. We are talking hospitals, we are talking schools, we are talking hostels, we are talking everything infrastructure. Let us not overbuild, because I think we have fallen into the trap of overbuilding. But in the meantime, let me say thank you to the international producers, Maribel, Oliver, and the legendary Ziggy. They do an amazing job for us to bring us this opinion every Monday. Thank you so much, Maribel, Oliver, and Ziggy, always on the ones and twos. I know Kofi Hayford has lined up his beautiful soul-searching songs for us. I am Nana Ansah Kwao IV, and every Monday I come here to do this. And I say until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting will always glorify the hunter. God willing, next Monday we'll be back to do this all over